Welcome back to Anything You Want, the home of stories that dare to wander between rumor and reality, between whispers and truth. If you love discovering the unseen sides of your favorite stars, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap on join to support our growing community, and give this video a like so more people can find it. Today, we unravel one of the most quietly fascinating mysteries in the Turkish entertainment world, the story of Gökberk Yildirim and Semra Arda, a connection that may have blossomed far away from the blinding lights of fame. For months, the media hunted for clues, fans scrolled endlessly through posts and interviews, and yet no one could quite grasp what lay behind Gökberk Yildirim's subtle distance. He seemed unattached, no public handholding, no romantic dinners accidentally captured by the paparazzi. But beneath the polished calm of his public persona, a quieter truth seemed to breathe. Observant fans began piecing together a puzzle made not of confessions, but of coincidences, synchronized absences, mirrored travels, and those carefully timed silences whenever certain questions were raised. While other actors of his generation orchestrated love stories under the camera's glare, Gökberk appeared to be building something different, something protected. And as time unfolded, that invisible narrative began pointing toward one name, Semra Arda. What's extraordinary about this supposed relationship is that its strongest moments were never seen. No joint appearances, no social media tags, no photos to confirm what hearts already suspected. Their connection seemed to live precisely in the spaces where absence spoke louder than presence. People close to the actor describe him as a man allergic to pretense, someone who refuses to convert his personal life into a marketing instrument. When others capitalize on visibility, he retreats into silence. That silence, however, has never been emptiness, it has been protection. Every rumor dismissed, every question left unanswered seemed to form a quiet declaration: some things are too sacred to display. And then there was that day, a funeral, heavy with unspoken meaning. It wasn't the sort of event one would expect to reveal romance, and yet something about their exchange, their stillness, carried the weight of an entire history. There were no gestures of affection, no words overheard. But those who saw them together whispered afterward that it felt less like a chance meeting and more like the closing chapter of a love written between the lines. Forgiveness was offered that day, but not as a performance. It seemed like the culmination of something long fought, long concealed. You don't forgive someone that profoundly unless they've occupied a place deeper than friendship, closer than mere acquaintance. That single moment became the thread that wove together every previous silence. Before we go further, don't forget, if you're intrigued by stories like this one, remember to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts about Gökberk and Semra's mysterious bond, and let us know which other Turkish stars you'd like us to explore next. Your engagement truly keeps Anything You Want alive. What makes this story so distinct in an industry obsessed with exposure is precisely its absence of spectacle. No choreographed airport encounters, no coincidental dinners in candlelit restaurants, no accidental leaks. Their connection resisted the modern hunger for proof. Instead of feeding on publicity, it survived in spite of it. This kind of secrecy isn't born of shame but of reverence. It's the refusal to let the world consume what was meant to be felt, not flaunted. And paradoxically, that silence has spoken more loudly than any declaration could have. Fans noticed how whenever Gökberk vanished from the public eye, Semra too seemed to step back, as though they shared an invisible rhythm. Their careers followed independent paths, but their absences intertwined like shadowed verses in the same poem. In an era where every love story demands documentation, theirs became a rare relic, one lived, not displayed. It was never curated for applause, it was sculpted in privacy, and that may be what makes it unforgettable. Among all their unspoken chapters, the funeral remains the story's pivot, the moment when speculation turned into conviction. Observers recall the air between them as charged, trembling with recognition. There were no embraces, no tears exchanged in public, yet something deeper pulsed beneath the surface. Those who have known both actors insist that what happened there wasn't coincidence, it was closure, or perhaps renewal. It's said that during moments of grief, masks fall away. And in that stillness, their connection, so carefully hidden, seemed to breathe in the open for the first time. Forgiveness isn't given lightly, especially in public. For Semra to extend that gesture spoke volumes, of history, of affection, and perhaps of unfinished tenderness. As months have passed, what once began as a whisper has become a quiet certainty among followers. No one expects a public confirmation anymore. Instead, people have learned to read the language of what's left unsaid. Fans have become archivists, decoding every subtle hint, a matching lyric in a caption, a sudden change in filming schedules, or simply that uncanny sense of timing that keeps them apart and yet always aligned. Unlike fleeting romances that burn fast under fame's glare, this one seems designed for endurance. It thrives on restraint. It respects its own boundaries. And perhaps that is why it still captivates. Viewers are no longer chasing gossip, they're witnessing a new kind of intimacy, one born not from spectacle but from quiet devotion. What do you think, dear viewers? Could Gökberk Yildirim and Semra Arda be the living proof that love doesn't need to be public to be real? Drop your opinions below. Your thoughts often reveal as much insight as the story itself. The entertainment world thrives on exposure, but this story challenges that logic. If the whispers are true, Gökberk and Semra created a parallel universe within their fame, a place where affection could survive untouched. It wasn't rebellion against the media, it was self-preservation. They weren't hiding for fear, but for love. Their discretion turned what could have been gossip into something almost poetic. Every unsaid word became more meaningful than a confession, every absence more eloquent than a photograph. And that is perhaps why their story, though unconfirmed, feels truer than many official romances we see paraded across magazine covers. So, after all this time, the question remains, will they ever allow the world to see what it has only imagined? Some insiders think they never will, not out of secrecy, but out of strength. Others believe that one day, when both have healed their wounds and reclaimed their peace, they might share a glimpse of what they once guarded so fiercely. But perhaps that's not even necessary. Some stories lose their soul when exposed. Some loves survive only in shadow. And maybe, just maybe, theirs is one of those rare connections that exist most vividly when unseen. And that, dear viewers, brings us to the end of this emotional odyssey, a story woven not with words, but with silences. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe to Anything You Want, like this video, and click the join button if you'd like to help us keep uncovering the most compelling stories from the world of Turkish stars. Because love, fame, and mystery will always find a way to intertwine, and here on Anything You Want, we promise to keep watching, listening, and wondering right alongside you. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and never stop believing in the power of what remains unspoken.